49ers. The 49ers, of course, they present multiple challenges for the Browns. The one challenge that they're going to present is, we just kind of mentioned it a little bit offensively. They have so many weapons that they can hit you with. I think Brandon Aiyuk is a guy who would be a number one receiver for a lot of people. You got Debo Samuel, who's more of a Swiss Army knife. He can run the football, throw a lot of screens to him, very difficult to touch, brings that fire and intensity. George Kittle is a guy that can run down your field, but also George Kittle is one of the best run blockers and pass blockers in the league. Up front, they're solid. Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the game. And last but not least, you got the Christian McCaffery, who can, is the most versatile two-way back in the game. And then you got Brock Purdy, who we just keep waiting for him to fall off. He just doesn't do it. Just doesn't do it. And I think that's because Kyle Shanahan does a good job of mixing it up. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he can anticipate throws the ball. He has nice touch on it. He's not going to throw the ball through a wall. However, they run the ball so well, they do other things so well that you don't necessarily need that. Then you flip it on the other side of the football. We talked about it. Their linebackers probably run just as well, or if not even better than our linebackers run. You look at it up front. The defending defensive player of the year in Nick Bosa, Ward in that secondary. So they play a very physical style. I watched them go out there and beat the brakes off the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it was bad. I'm like, man, these Jews is out here putting that work in. So, and I'm not just sitting here to pat the 49ers on the back like they can't be beat. What I'm saying is they present a lot of different challenges. And one of the challenges I think that most importantly is really going to, will prove how Kevin Stefanski in this game plan go forward is the way they used to choose to attack this defense. Kevin Stefanski has never committed to the run. He's never quite all the way committed to the run. Even when his best plays and his best players were up front, when you go back to that 2020 season. And I always ask this question. If Kevin Stefanski was coaching that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, how would that have changed the outcome? Now, some people think that it's disingenuous, and it's also, it's also kind of you're playing like a little game with his legacy, because you're saying that he didn't really win that game. He didn't really go into Pittsburgh and win that game. Take a look at it. They had about 5-6 turnovers. Big Ben had turnovers. When somebody spots you a snap and you go out the back of the end zone, that's a big turn in the game. However, when you look at some of those plays, Jarvis Landry made some nice plays. The screen game was there. You look at the way Nick Chubb was able to score on the screen. And I look at the way that those games were called and how differently the Cleveland Browns continue to play today. I went back and checked out the film. And one of the things that the Cleveland Browns were able to do back in 2020 when they did make the playoffs is they were a team that were able to get big plays with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb on screen passes. They also did not have on their major runs, they didn't have the level of penalties that they had. Now you just look up and you think about it like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? Every time you look up and they get a nice play, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards, it's coming back. And that is because the offensive line, to me, has regressed a lot. And it's not like they're playing horrible all at once. It's just a guy here, a guy here, a guy here, a guy here. But the guy that hurts you the most is Jed Wills. And what I want to do is I want to set this up in a different way. Sometimes when you talk about individuals and why they aren't doing what they need to do and why they won't be successful, sometimes people can think you're bullying somebody and just harping on somebody and just picking on somebody. I'm going to put it in this context and say that the way that they need to beat the San Francisco 49ers is to basically play like the 49ers and shorten the game. They need to basically play like the 49ers and shorten the game. And in order to play like the 49ers, you have to be creative in your run game. Just getting guys like Jed Wills and lining up with 2 tight ends, you're not giving those guys an opportunity because the defense is too smart. The defense understands, like, Jed Wills is not good enough to line up Imano on a defensive end and kick him out or reach him or double team him to the next level. He's just not that good. So when you come out in those formations, they aren't scared by anything because now they're saying, okay, we can keep everything in front of us. And the Browns move away from them runs so easily that now it's either all or nothing. It's either we're going to run the ball under center with 2 tight ends and we'll run boot off of it and see what happens, which is nothing because they're not biting on that. Or we're going to get in 5 wide and we're going to have sit-down routes and high-low concepts over the middle of the field, which they're not worried about either. So what they need to do is I look at it in terms of this. Maybe we don't do all the outside zone stuff because to run outside zone, you need running backs with vision. You need running backs with good feet. You need running backs with cut back ability. I don't even know if that's a word. And there are times where I do look like I like Jerome Ford, but there are just too many times where his eyes is not on where his landmark should be at. There are times when there's a cutback lane, he doesn't see it. There's times when he should put his foot in the ground, get north and south, he doesn't do it. It's almost like he's trying to chase that home run. And the thing that we've been watching and why you are getting those holding penalties is because offensive line is used to Nick Chubb making them look right or making them right. If somebody's reading color in the hole, Nick is bouncing that back immediately. And he's always seeming to get 4 or 5 yards. So one of the reasons why I don't like the East and West stuff is if you are outnumbered, if you are outflanked, if you're out athletic, they got more athletes than you do. What's going to happen? The first thing you're going to do is pull, hold, tug. That's not what we should be running and working off the concept of inside zone where we got double teams up front, move to the next level. And there's another thing too. If you're going to run inside zone, you have to calm your brakes on getting to the next level. First things first. You never leave a defensive tackle. You never leave a nose tackle to get to a linebacker or to get to a safety. First level first. And I've been seeing a lot of that within the first 4 games. They have a good double team or a good reach or a good punch. And now I'm trying to slide and cut them off. And instead of continuing with that blocks, they're so eager to get to the next level to get a finished block when you're not finishing your breakfast up front. Finish your meal. Finish your plate up there. That's some of the things that I've been watching. And to do some of these things, Kevin Stefanski is going to have to get creative. The tendencies when you're charting it, the run game out of shotgun is almost non-existent. There's no draws. There's no inside zones. All they're running out of shotgun is the outside zone play going east and west. And Elijah Moore is not a running back. Stop running him under these plays. He's not a running back. Continue to give those guys those plays. I like to see more Strong. Where's Strong at? I like to see more of him. Kareem Hunt missed a lot of cuts I saw in the last game. So they got some work. But I think what you can do is if you can run the ball, shorten the game, make it a defensive game, but also give you some easier reads and be more physical and don't let those defensive ends just start coming upfield because you're in 5 wide. Keep it easy, and just because they stop you a few times, you got to keep it going.